Ignitours is a relatively new company, and I specialize in guided museum visits. So I'm really looking to pair local neighborhood tours and just enhance that by taking the guests one step further into a local museum. And that might be their point of interest coming to the tour, but then they get the benefit of learning about the surrounding neighborhood as well. So most museums, I think, for a lot of people can be overwhelming, and to have a guide sort of show you their overall narrative and what they're trying to accomplish and pick out some key pieces so that the person experiencing the museum can feel like more connected to it. And then once the guide has concluded their narrative, they will leave you to explore on your own. So
I love that. I love that. And I could see like the culinary aspect being fun, because a lot of the restaurants at museums are kind of tourist traps. They kind of rip offs, and they don't have the greatest food.
Indeed.
And I remember going to, what's the one in San Sebastian? It's a very famous one, I can't remember, but it's like very modern, like a lot of automotive stuff and like modern art. But I remember like, you know, the little cafe outside was like overpriced and not great. And I imagine, do you have a culinary aspect where they like take people like through the neighborhood, find a cool restaurant?
Absolutely.
Or that's so good.
Part of the neighborhood tours are talking about what's around, and another part of my business is highlighting small businesses,
I love
which
that.
include local restaurants, very much so.
No, that's very cool. So what was the inciting incident where you were like, man, this experience is not work for me. It must not work for some other people. And this is keeping me up at night, and I need to launch a company to solve this problem.
Well, my history getting to this point is interesting. I've been in tourism for almost 20 years, and I worked at Griffith Observatory for almost a decade.
Okay. Yep.
And I was in operations and I was in programming.
Yep.
And I became a tour guide during that time. And once I committed full-time into tourism, I really started to see that free museums in particular are sort of forgotten about.
Yeah, that's a great point.
People just go and show up and, you know, observe it on their own, but you're not getting the most out of it. And the former company I worked for, I actually built the tour around Griffith Observatory for that company.
Wow, smart.
And I realized that was the niche I wanted to focus on. And so the company I previously worked for has varied interests, but I really wanted to specialize on that, sort of making a museum more palatable and bringing it into layman's terms, contemporary art or an automotive museum or fossils, historical space. All of that I think can really be broken down. It's really great for families. So
yeah, no, I take my kids to like Balboa Park a lot here in San Diego, which is like just tons of museums. Is your model completely paired with free museums, or you have a blend of paid and free?
Yes, so we do definitely specialize in museums that have paid ticketing attractions as well. I try to get good rates, but I'm willing to pay the premium to get the foot in the door. The Exploratorium in San Francisco is really my newest product. It's a physics sort of optical illusion museum that's super cool. It's pricey, but it's worthwhile.
Yeah. And I also, you know, I think about the Griffith Park. I lived in LA for 10 years, 6.5 in Toluca Lake. And, you know, we're on the back end of Griffith Park, so didn't have, the zoo side, yep, exactly, you know, horseback rides and all that fun stuff.
For many years, mailbox to Toluca Lake.
Oh, okay, let's go.
Local.
Yeah, we bought there because my wife was a marker at Warner Brothers and I was a traveling salesman, so I was always driving around the city, and my office was downtown. Nice train ride into downtown from the Universal City Station back when people took the train in LA, or I don't know if they ever did. But
so another one of the tours that I'm building, or have already launched actually, is a museum road tour. And the reason I did that was to get ahead of the Purple Line extending.
Wow, very smart.
Because LA is preparing for the 2020
Olympics.
The
Olympics, yep, good point.
They are making their trains better.
That's
just
smart. No, I love it. I mean, look, you know, I've traveled around the country and just, you know, seen how amazing public transportation and how that connects to tourism. I mean, my favorite thing, is like, you know, going to, you know, Amsterdam for a work conference with Adobe, and then having like 3 days on the front end and 3 days on the back end with my client to go to some museums and exhibits and stuff like that, because it's Adobe and he's a photographer and he likes to do that kind of stuff. But then it's like cigar, you know, lounges and restaurants and Yeah, exactly. Wink, wink, nod, nod. But really,
for sure. Amsterdam is well known for its cigar scene.
Yes, exactly. It actually is. It has one of the oldest cigar stores in the entire world. But I forget the H.G. Janus, I think. But it's a cool spot. But digressing again. But yeah, I mean, I just think this element of like, I also think the approachability of museums, like I enjoy it, but it's like, I go in and like you said, I get overwhelmed very fast. Like I can engage and like pay attention for maybe 10 minutes. And then I'm just like, I'm reading plaques.
Right.
I'm looking at things. Exactly. I have no context. Yeah. It's cool, kind of, but I'm ready to go and like do the next thing. Yeah. And it's always like the humanized ones that, whether it's like an official tour or an unofficial tour, or you hear somebody talking, or you do like a headphones thing. I feel like those are the ones that really like are elevated experiences where you're engaged because somebody's bringing you on a narrative and a storytelling journey versus, leaving it up to an amateur,
Yeah, you get it. And you're like, I'm an ideal client. Honestly, my customers, are largely families.
Yep.
And, it's good to be able to appeal as a guide, especially and write content for something that can capture a 5 or 10-year-old's interest for however long, but also the adult will be like, oh, that's interesting. There's a sweet spot.
Yeah, I love that. So you're here at Arival 360 in San Diego. Are you a veteran? Is this the first time for you?
I am new to Arival, but I have done a handful of IPWs. Yep. So I'm a veteran in the industry, but I'm a newbie to Arival.
Yeah, same to me. It's been a lot of fun so far. I've learned a ton this week. So what was the main thing that you were looking forward to when you looked at the schedule and arrived as far as like a keynote that you've either seen already or one that's still yet to be delivered?
There are a lot of fascinating topics that I wanted to explore. I really wanted to make contacts with more distribution channels. That was my main agenda.
Got it.
But I have seen a lot of interesting things around AI and how people are utilizing that.
Yeah.
Not just to write content or to generate, product pages, which is my limited experience with it. But I learned a lot of things about AI and how
customer
I can
service,
optimize my website, how I can identify customers and create a whole plan. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And what I love about AI is I don't think it's replacing humans. It's allowing us to allow humans to do the jobs that they're really good at. So like I saw a lot of panels this week about like creative as well. And like the idea that AI gets you the scaffolding, but if you don't put the 5% into editing it and making it human, then it sounds and looks like everything else out there and it just becomes homogenized because AI is the sum of the great total of information available to it. And it is going to give you and everybody else a version of, what the most appropriate answer is based on the largest amount of groupthink. And if you don't have a point of view and a brand that kind of sings and transcends that homogeny, then you kind of end up in a sea of sameness.
I can identify AI written content pretty quickly. It's at this point, it's like, that was ChatGPT.
Totally. Yep. Good point.
Yeah, so that's really been the highlight. And then just seeing some of the old industry contacts that I've made over the years. It's just really nice to have a gathering place to share ideas.
Love it. So tell me about your marketing strategy. What did you start to do? What was the first thing you did to start to generate customers?
Well, I will say that is, full disclaimer, not my department. It's my business partner, founder.
Okay,
that
cool.
is his world, thankfully. But my agenda is to give back to each community. And so something that I have learned in past experiences with museums
is
well, they have a nonprofit. So I try to partner with the nonprofits and leverage their audience.
Yeah,
so
that's really smart.
Kind of that's my approach to marketing. That is very low cost.
It's cause marketing too, right? It's getting the people, letting them have the opportunity to feel like they're doing something good with voting with their dollars and supporting a cause. And if you can get the people who care about that cause, the donors, the board members, the benefactors, the members, then it kind of creates a win-win on both ends.
In one example I'll give you is I had for a long time a downtown Los Angeles walking tour.
Yep.
And you may be aware, but every Thursday, I think the first Thursday of every month, there's a downtown LA arts walk. It's an organization.
Yeah, okay, I remember that.
There's a bunch of galleries. They have
my office was at the corner of Flower and
Flower, exactly. What Broadway, May.
There it is, like Flower May. Watermark Tower.
So I started offering a free guided tour for the artwork the art walk specifically for that organization once a month, donation. And now I have so many more followers because their local community has tapped into the experiences that we offer.
Wow,
It's
super
been
cool.
really organic, and it's inspiring because it is about sort of where people's passions lie.
Yeah, I love that. So what are you most excited about in your business over the next 6 to 12 months? What's coming down the pipe that you are pumped on that you can talk about?
Honestly, I'm really excited to learn more because I am a first-time entrepreneur. I mean, it's a long time in the making, but it's actually in practice now. And I am excited about a couple of projects that are relating to nonprofits. I don't want to get too detailed.
Sure,
but,
that's okay.
My target right now is a nonprofit that runs the Cable Car Museum in San Francisco.
Oh, that is
Because if
smart.
I could get some sort of advantage there, I think that there are a lot of public transit enthusiasts, but also people who are interested in trains and San Francisco history. So that I'm probably launching in the next 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
That's my main goal.
It's super smart. I think one of the experiences that I remember most was when I went to Mount Rushmore, which is George Washington's private estate. And I went with an advertising group for political advertising. And what was really exciting about it is we got what I would call like a behind the scenes tour. So we went behind the velvet rope. They opened up the bedroom and took us into like went off the path and like went up the stairs into places where normal people don't get to go. And when you partner with people who have access, like what you're doing, you create something that money can't buy. And that is ultimately what the audience that we cater to, which is we call the Economy Plus, they have a lot of features, but a key feature is they will pay more money for exclusivity or to be part of something that is unique. So I think you're onto something really cool there.
Thank you. It's a lot of years of experience, and now it's something I'm excited to do for myself, and hopefully other people will respond to it. I'm glad you think that too.
Yeah, no, I love it. You want to point people to where they can find out more about your tours and or where they can connect with you professionally?
Absolutely. So This is the company name,
Let's go.
Ignitours.com, obviously.
It.
And then Instagram. I just launched all of this in the last couple of days. It was very coordinated for this event. But at Ignitours_CA.
Love it. Well, thanks, Dara. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
I appreciate you. And
Enjoy it. Bye-bye.